Alrighty guys, welcome back. Today we are finally going to be testing our dedicated AR-22 upper here and comparing it to the accuracy that we got, and you can see here, I'll link into the previous video we did on this, to the accuracy out of a standard 5.56 upper using the CMMG conversion kit. This particular upper utilizes a CMMG dedicated 22LR barrel. As you can see here, it is a proper 1 in 16 twist, as 22 should be. Proper 22 chamber here at the rear, so you don't have that bullet jump that you do on a traditional setup. We are going to be shooting a variety of different ammo types through it here today. As you can see from left to right, we have CCI mini mags, CCI AR tac, that's a, I believe, 40 grain, plated round nose, Aguila Super Extra, Federal bulk pack. This ammo so far I found not exactly the best, but we're going to test it anyway. CCI standard velocity, good old standby right there. Federal auto match, which is actually outperforming the copper-plated stuff both in pistol and in the other upper. So we're going to see how that does, as well as some Norma TAC-22 40 grain lead round nose there on the end. Stay with me. We're going to get into it, and we are shooting here down at, if I can zoom in for you guys, those target banks right down there at 50 yards. Without any further ado, let's put the first shots through this guy, get the barrel seasoned, get it zeroed in. And then from there, we're going to shoot some groups. Stay with me. For our actual target setup here, you can see I have two banks. The top row going across is going to be the targets for the dedicated 22LR upper. You can see here we're starting with mini mags. And then the second row going across here is for the conversion kit that'll be shot through the 5.56 barrel. These green targets are 2-inch in diameter, and each of the hash marks on the vertical is 1 inch apart, and each of those lines is 2 inches long. This will give us a decent but somewhat minimalistic way to see group size and so on. I do have some here on the bottom for the Norma TAC-22. I ran out of space on the top line and wasn't able to fit it in. You can see here we're going to be shooting back from the 50-yard line. Alright, to help keep this relatively consistent, I'm going to shoot down the line of ammunition as we saw here through the dedicated upper first after we get it zeroed, and then we are going to transition over to the conversion kit and shoot down the line the same way using that. Before each of these shots, I'm going to fire, with the exception of the Norma because I'm running low on that, I'm going to fire 5 shots to season the barrel and then a 10-shot group of each one. Also, I'm using a M&P 1522 mag here with some little felt pads there on the front of it to help keep it spaced properly. But these things work great, and I love those little thumb tabs on the sides that make it a lot easier to load these things. So I'm thinking because I have the most of it, I'm going to start off, just get us a rough zero with the Aguila, and then final zero with the CCI mini mags. And I'm curious to see where this starts off printing. For this next part, I was able to get it zeroed. However, I did put between 75 and 100 rounds through it just to get that barrel seasoned in and get the accuracy to tighten up a little bit before we were actually going to shoot the groups. The 6-24 Vortex scope on top is a bit overkill, especially for this kind of application, but it ensured that I could see the target very cleanly and ensure that I was exactly lined up when I broke the shot each time. It is a nice scope, and it's going to be put onto a Precision 223 build in the future. Alrighty guys, we're going to start off with groups. I'm going to shoot 5 shots first to kind of season the bore, and then we're going to load in 10 shots and shoot our actual groups downrange. Let's get to it. Up first, CCI mini mags. 5 shots to season the bore. Let's do this. Okay, and 10 shots of CCI mini mags. Here we go. Yep, we are changing. For the sake of keeping this video short, I am only going to show you guys like the first group from both the dedicated upper as well as a conversion kit. There was a little bit of wind here as well, and I ended up reshooting the CCI mini mag group because after I shot this one, the wind died down somewhat, and I wanted to give it a fair comparison. Okay, now Let's switch over here to the 5.56 upper, put the conversion kit in, and shoot some groups there, see how they compare. Also, for what it's worth, in this lower, I am running a Geisley SSAE trigger. Very nice target trigger, works great. Switching over. We won't actually have a bipod with this guy. Ooh, I got some spider webs on it. We won't actually have a bipod, so I'll have to shoot off the bag. And our max magnification does cap out at 6 times, as opposed to the 24 times we were running this on. However, you've seen the groups previously, and at this distance, that's really not that hard to hold on to. Okay, and we're going to set the bolt to the side. We have to take out this assembly. We're going to need the conversion kit nose. I'll put the other one back in here. So to do this, you just pull back a little bit, kind of rotate this collar. That's your feed collar. Rotate that off. We're going to take our nose. Try to get these lined up. There we go. Pop that in, and your conversion kit's good to go. Slide that on in like so. And pop your receiver together. And we are in business. 10 rounds of CCI mini mags. In, chambered. Let's do this. Alrighty guys, we just finished shooting all these different ammunition types through both the dedicated 22 upper right here, as well as our standard 5.56 upper there in the background with the conversion kit. That was a lot of rounds fired. Let's hop down range, take a look, see what we got. And of course, what would a good range video be without the warp speed run down range? Alrighty guys, taking a look at what we have here for the targets, you can very readily see that the top row shot out of the dedicated upper has given much more consistent groups than the conversion kit equipped upper. This one here was also shot out of the dedicated upper. I reused this target since I actually ran out of the Norma TAC 22s. Let's review them. The load that I thought was going to do the best was the CCI mini mags, and you can see here shot out of the dedicated upper. We are shooting, of course, from 50 yards, and if you take a look at this group here, the circles are 2 inch across, so 1/2 inch center to out. So you're looking, I would say, or I'm sorry, 1 inch center to out, and you're looking probably about 1.25 inches or so spread on this group. Not too bad considering it's a 22 LR at 50 yards. I would have liked it a little bit tighter, but again, it's not bad. Moving down to the group shot with the conversion kit in a 5.56 barrel. This is a 1 1/8 twist, 16 inch 5.56 barrel. Again, not too bad. You're looking a little bit larger here. I would venture to say this group is pushing right around the 2 inch mark. Moving up to the CCI AR TAC. This one really hasn't impressed me both in previous testing or even now. This group here is decent. We have that flyer. That could have been wind, but like, what are these two? I was getting very consistent breaks on this, like I said on the shooting section of the video. That rifle runs a Geisley SSAE trigger, which is a nice target trigger, and I know I'm for sure not yanking these down here. Moving down to the conversion kit groups. Again, definitely more sporadic, as you can see here, than the CCI mini mags. kind of in line with what I was expecting. It has been perfectly reliable, which I think is kind of what they market it towards, but still. Now moving over to the one that kind of impressed me the most, believe it or not. This is a Gila Super Extra. I think I paid $21 for a box of 325 of these, and I actually zeroed over here at 50 yards for the CCI Mini Mags on another target, but these Gila Super Extras are hitting right in there. The group is a little bit larger, but as you can see, it held very well centered, and we only had a couple flyers. At this point, the wind was kind of decent. I can't completely blame it on wind, but it very well could have been either that or a flyer. Moving down to the Gila Super Extra through the conversion kit. Not too great. Again, on the vertical stringing, we're looking actually right on that line. So 3 inches here, and then probably maybe 2.5 inches on the horizontal. Now this one I fully expected to do terrible, and that's exactly what it did. It did not disappoint in the least. This is the Federal Bulk Pack copper-plated hollow point. I think these are either 36 or 38 grains. These are actually more expensive than the Auto Match, which we're getting to, but they really do terribly in shooting them, both here and in the conversion kit in the 5.56 barrel. You'll see in a second. The velocities on these were all over the place. The reports, some were quiet, some were loud. The recoil's different. At one point, I had one not fail to kick the bolt back hard enough to even reset the hammer. So, velocity consistency on these, absolute garbage. I hate to trash on ammo, but I've had nothing but issues with these, and the accuracy is abysmal. It gets worse. We're looking down here at the conversion barrel. Yeah. There's one over here. There's one down here, almost off the paper. Here, and there. And I can tell you from a fact, and I should include this section in the shooting portion of the video, these guys were not consistent in the least. Moving up CCI standard velocity, I was hoping for a little more out of this one. Again, we're looking probably 3 inches or so across here, and probably triangulate to here, and probably about the same down to here. So 3 inch really bigger than I was hoping for, but for some reason both the dedicated barrel and the conversion kit prefer slightly higher velocity ammo, I'm finding. Moving down to here, this is with the conversion kit and the 5.56 barrel, of course. Again, about the same spread. You're looking maybe a little over 3 inches. And up here, this one is the one I would say that's hitting above its price class. This is Federal Auto Match. It is a 40 grain lead round nose designed specifically to cycle semi-autos. Well, obviously I zeroed for the CCI Mini Mags, but you can see all of these except for that one, which I'm pretty confident was a gust of wind, are inside this, or at least breaking the edge on this 2 inch circle. That's not bad, especially for some bulk ammo, and it does way better than its bulk pack plated hollow point counterpart. So I think Federal's doing this really well in everything that I've shot it in. What are you doing? What are you doing? Again, I don't like to bash on ammo, but that stuff's absolute garbage. Moving down to the Auto Match in the conversion kit. Yeah, not too great. It doesn't particularly care for it. Really, the only thing the conversion kit actually likes has been the CCI Mini Mags, which, as you can see over here, actually give a decent group. So, moving down to the bottom. Here is the Norma TAC-22 out of the dedicated upper. These are, I think, only 1050 feet per second on velocity, so they're a little bit light, and you can kind of tell as you're shooting. They fully reset the hammer every time. However, look at the spread. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches vertical stringing, and that's 2 inches, about 2.5 inches on the horizontal. Not too great. I also wanted to revisit the Mini Mags because I shot this first group when it was actually fairly windy over here. So I revisited the Mini Mags and actually got a worse group. I may keep trying around with that, but it doesn't seem to be doing the best out of what we got here. Again, you're looking, I'd say right around 2 inches here if you don't include this random flyer down here. I'm not sure where that one came from. I don't remember if it felt different or not. We'd have to look at the shooting footage for that one. But that's the Mini Mags. Stepping back. Overall, I would say it's a definite improvement. Again, this barrel only has, I think I shot maybe 75, 100 rounds through it before I started actually shooting groups. I don't know if it needs to go through any kind of break-in procedure, but as you can see here, certain loads are actually doing pretty decent with it, and in all honesty, I'm pretty content with that from 50 yards with the 22, at least the semi-auto with a non-match barrel. Again, the Aguila is doing pretty well, and if we skip over here, the auto match, with the exception of that wind flyer, the auto match is also doing pretty well. At this point, the test results were fairly clear, but I wanted to test even further. Setting up 6 B8 bullseyes, I decided to shoot the top 3 at 50 yards with the mini mag, super extra, and the auto match. 10 shots in each target, just as before, of course, with 5 fouling shots shot off to the side, just to condition the barrels, and then step back to 100 yards and shoot each of the 3 again, just to see how they'd do. For this part, I did figure out what my holdovers would be on a side target, and then held that position to factor in both the wind and the elevation drop. And of course, shooting here at 50 yards, I had become quite comfortable by this point with the exact hold position, as well as we got a nice slope gap at the wind, so made it fairly easy there. Here, of course, is back at the 100-yard line, and like I said a little bit ago, we do have a little bit of wind that I had to hold on for the CCI group, although I think it still turned out all right. Following up that with the Aguila Super Extra as well as the Auto Match, and you'll see the results here on that in a second. As a quick little side note here, I was able to actually capture a pretty clear image through my scope, so you guys can see exactly what the targets look like at that distance. Alrighty guys, coming up on our groups here from 100 yards and 50 yards. Back out so you guys can see that pretty well. On the top is our mini mag group from 50 yards. You see, not too bad. I have one down here. That one I think felt slightly weird. That one was, I believe, the first shot. And from 100 yards back, we're from here to here, so you're looking at probably, I wish I had a ruler, that's about 1 inch. Well, that's about 2 inches right there. So you're less than 3 inches on the spread here from 100 yards, which is honestly quite acceptable, and that was also playing around with wind. I had to develop a wind hold. From 50 yards, the Super Extra here absolutely crushed it. I had one flyer. Like I said, that one also felt somewhat weird. I can feel the lower powdered ones when they go off, and then 9 shots right here in the X-ring. That is definitely acceptable. From 100 yards, though, that kind of fell apart. Ignore these over here. The auto match is all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So still not bad, but a little more sporadic. The auto match from 50, a little bit wider of a group this time. See here, and then a flyer down here on the bottom. And then from 100 yards, yeah, no, that's where the auto match falls apart. So for the 100-yard shots, the mini mags were definitely preferred and the most consistent. And from 50 yards, either the mini mags did really well too, but the Super Extras also did quite well. If you guys have any thoughts on these particular builds or on the groups that we saw today, absolutely leave that down in the comment section down below. Also, if you have one of these CMMG barrels and have accuracy tested, let me know what kind of accuracy you're getting out of yours. I'd like to see if mine is a typical barrel or if it's better or worse than what's typically coming off the shelf. If you guys would like to see certain types of ammunition tested that I didn't test here and that I might have availability to, by all means, let me know in the comment section. We're looking forward to doing a bunch more testing on this build, and I can't wait to get some more rounds through it and really see how it does. Thanks as always for watching us here on the Reloading Craft channel. If you enjoy our 22 content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up down below. And as always, make sure you're subscribed. Stay safe out there. Keep on reloading. And sometimes that means reloading 22 mags when you're out for a day on the range training. I'll catch you later.